CBS Sports brings you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Green Bay Packers. A huge game for both of these teams. Still in the playoff hunt. Green Bay at 5-5. The Buccaneers at 4-7. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Irv Cross here in Milwaukee. And as usual, in a game that has so much meaning for each team, the focus comes down to the quarterbacks.
Well, of course, a big focus for Tampa Bay is Vinny Testaverde returning to the starting lineup after having been benched for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And talking to Vinny last night, he had a real strong resolve in his eye and determination to do well. And I asked him if he had learned anything about being on the bench. He said, yeah, Irv, I learned one thing. I didn't like it. He hopes to have his best game tonight.
All right, now for the Packers, they've got Anthony Dilweg again. He's playing for the injured Don Majkowski.
Well, Dilweg's been pretty effective. He started early in the season for the Packers. As a matter of fact, was named NFC Player of the Week in their opening victory over the Rams. So when I asked Perkins to compare the Packer quarterbacks, he said when Majkowski rolls out, he rolls to throw. When Dilweg rolls out, he rolls to run. And he can put an awful lot of pressure on our defense. We respect him.
The Packers are going to have the ball first today, and it'll be Steve Christie kicking off. Christie has a slight hip flexor muscle problem and didn't practice all week long. Ray Perkins confident that he's ready to kick today. He's had a fine season, the rookie from William & Mary. Charles Wilson is the deep man, the rookie with Vince Workman and Herman Fontenot up standing near the 10-yard line. The Bucs to our left in white, the Packers to our right in green, and it will be Wilson. And the rookie wide receiver out to the 30-yard line. Keith McCants made the tackle there. So Green Bay at 5-5, hoping for a good performance from Anthony Dilweg, who brought them from behind last week when Majkowski went down with an injury. And he'll have this offensive line. Alan Weingrad returning to left tackle after a calf injury. Ard, Campen, Euchre, Mandarich, and Ed West. Keith Woodside and Michael Haddix will start at the running backs. Perry Kemp and the dangerous and colorful Sterling Sharpe at wide receivers. Dilweg, 45 completions and 81 throws this season, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Haddix on first down, picks up about 2 yards. It'll leave 2nd and 8. Defensively for the Buccaneers,
Ruben Davis, 39, made the tackle.
a little bit of shuffling in the linebacker core, but these starters remain the same. Davis and Newton, although, of course, Newton and Cannon replacing injured players. Kurt Jarvis and Scow on injured reserve. Now, the linebacker core, a little change here. Murphy will be out the left outside for Broderick Thomas, then Marvin Randall inside, Winston Moss on the right. The secondary, Reynolds and Haddix on the corners, Robinson and Hamilton, the safeties. 2nd down and 8. Green Bay from their 32. The pitch to Thompson, and the rookie from Minnesota, not much, only got about a yard, strung out well by Haddix and Robinson. And it'll leave 3rd down and 7. Herman Fontenot will come onto the field. Thompson, the rookie from Minnesota, not much running room out the left side.
Should expect this, Tim. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had a lot of difficulty stopping the run today. As a matter of fact, one reason why they made those linebacker changes, the defensive lineman changes today, is to help get more support against the run and eliminate some of the mental errors they've had. And Fonte is going to challenge them right now, opening the game with a running attack.
On 3rd down, Weathers and Query come in to make 4 wide receivers. No gain on the run by Thompson, leaves 3rd and 8. Dilweg finds somebody open in the middle, and it's Herman Fontenot crawling, trying to get the 1st down yardage, and they're going to mark him down by contact with a Buccaneer short of the 1st down. And Fontenot complaining that he hadn't been touched and therefore should have been able to crawl forward. But they spotted at the 39, and it'll be a punting down for Green Bay. Don Bracken comes in to punt. Willie Drury will be the deep man for the Bucs, standing outside his 20-yard line. Bracken, 39 punts, a 37.8 average. Not a good average, but he and his coach both agree he's had some bad luck and some bad weather conditions. And they're not happy. They're not unhappy with his punting at all. That's a good kick. Backs up Drury to the 15. Drury dances his way, but is buried by a sea of green shirts at about the 18-yard line, led by Scott Stephen, a 47-yard punt for Bracken. So he does the job, and Vinny Testaverde returns to action at the controls of the Bucs. After 2 games on the bench, a relief effort in New Orleans, there was a flag on the punt. Offensively for the Bucs, it'll be Paul Gruber. Carl Bax returns to left guard this week, and Ian Beckles goes back to right guard. Grimes at center, Taylor the right tackle, and Ron Hall the tight end. And the penalty against the Buccaneers as we see the backs, Anderson and Cobb, with Carrier and Hill the wide receivers.
Tim, I was talking earlier today to Hank Bullock, the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator, and I said, what does this mean now, this change of Testaverde? He said, this guy, he said, Testaverde can make some awfully big plays. We cannot let him get started. The last time we saw him, he beat us.
Drury penalized on the punt return, backs the Bucs up inside their 10 for first down. Anderson nowhere to go as the Packers just got the push there and
Tom Goodman
closed all the holes on first down. So maybe a yard at most for Gary Anderson. Defensively, the Green Bay Packers will have Bob Nelson on the nose, a former Buccaneer, Brock and Brown at the ends. Linebacking core, Scott Stephen, Brian Noble, Johnny Holland, and Tim Harris. You'll see him coming from all directions. Lee and Holmes on the corners. Murphy and Chuck Cecil will be the safeties. They gave him 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 8. Anderson make it Cobb, Reggie Cobb, and Harris slicing in to stop him in his tracks. Maybe a loss on the play of about a yard.
Number 97, Tim Harris, playing in position as down lineman, makes the play. You can see the surge. The Packers are in a 4-man line. They'll shift out of that 3 into a 4-man front oftentimes, putting Harris on the outside. He's such a versatile player. He can play as a down lineman or as an standing up linebacker. That time as a defensive end, came in and made the play.
6 new players poured onto the field for this 3rd down play, and they waited as long as they could. So the Bucs not getting a chance to look at this alignment on 3rd and 8. Testaverde looks it over now with Hill in motion. Testaverde into the end zone and throws it away in the general direction of Drury. Buccaneers want a intentional grounding call. Sean Patterson had the pressure on number 96.
Fans are booing Tim because there's some questions of whether or not that was intentional grounding. The referee makes that call, but Testaverde can't find anybody up. And good pressure from that front 4 of the Packers. And number 96, Sean Patterson, flushes out Testaverde. The referee is the only one who makes the call on that. Did he have a receiver in the area to throw the ball away, or was he deliberately throwing away? The referee ruled incomplete pass.
Query, the deep man, Mark Royals from the end zone. Ball comes down at the 49-yard line of Green Bay, and Query bursts down the sidelines inside the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay. We'll be back with no score at Milwaukee County Stadium. Tampa Bay coach, 5 losses in a row. I thought he was wound a little tight last night when he came in to chat with us, Irv. Understandable. And hoping that today will be the day that his team can get it back together.
Well, he said he's never been through a period like this. His offense has been non-productive the last few weeks, and here they had big hopes for his ball club coming in, feeling they'd be in the playoffs. They've had 5 consecutive losses, and you can expect him to be a little edgy. He's quite a competitor, and he just can't stand being in this position.
Their last victory was against the Packers in Tampa Bay back in mid-October. First down, Green Bay at the 41-yard line after the good punt return by Query. Royals having to punt from his end zone. Dilweg will throw on first down, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Keith Woodside out of the backfield, number 33. So second down.
Talking to Dilweg yesterday, Tim, about his approach to the game, he said, basic difference between the way I play quarterback here and Don Majkowski is that Majkowski has great feet and great athletic ability. He's a great quarterback overall. He says, with me, I have to outthink people. I have to react quickly, read defenses quickly, and get the ball to the right man right now.
I take a more cerebral approach. Spoken like a Duke graduate. 2nd and 10. Good protection and unloads to the release man again for a gain of about 5. Woodside. It'll leave 3rd down and closer to 6 at the 36-yard line.
Woodside, number 33, Tim, this time comes out of the backfield from his halfback position, and he works against the linebacker, number 54, Irvin Randall, who was a change today as a starter, and that's the reason why. Randall does a good job in pass coverage. Last week, the Bucs had some difficulty in that area. Does a pretty good job on the short hook.
Weathers, Query, Fontenot, Wilson all in as receivers on this third down. 6 to go. And Dilweg changing something up from the shotgun. Bucks jump their defenders around and the blitz comes. Dilweg intended for Sharpe, and in and out of his hands. His vision obscured by Rodney Rice, who got a hand up trying to knock the ball away. Just distracted Sharpe enough. He dropped it, and it's 4th down.
Had everything going here, Tim. The offensive line did a great job picking up the blitz. The blitzer, Mark Robinson, came in, was picked off, but Sharpe, trying to read what's going on, he realizes the blitz breaks off his pattern, and boy, I tell you, Rodney Rice almost picked that off. He was in good position to take that ball away.
So it'll be a long field goal try for Chris Jacke, a 53-yard attempt. He has a 54-yard field goal. Bush will be the snapper, and the punter Bracken will hold. And it is partially blocked. So the Buccaneers stop the Packers, who had good field position for the start of this drive, but wind up coming up empty, and we'll be back in Milwaukee in a moment.
Official timeout.
This is what happened just before I went into commercial. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get their hand on this ball. Number 99 down on his 3-point stance. You'll see him rise up there now. Gene Marv looks to me like he was the first one to make contact. He just barely nips the ball, and the Packers fall short. Now, that was a big drive, really, for Tampa Bay because they made a lot of defensive changes this week, hoping they could come up with the ability to, A, stop the Packers' run, and also do a pretty good job on pass defense. They did it all and also blocked the field goal. Perkins has to be happy with that first defensive effort, Tim.
So they'll have first down at their 35. No score in the ball game. Testaverde throwing on first down to the tight end Jesse Anderson, the rookie from Mississippi State. A gain of about 4 yards. They'll leave 2nd and 6. So they started with a double tight end formation here on first down, showing something different to the Green Bay Packers. Anderson and Ron Hall.
2nd and...
It is a 3-yard gain, 3rd and 7. Sean Patterson comes in, make it 2nd and 7, pardon me. Sean Patterson comes onto the field to be the pass rushing defensive end, replacing Robert Brown. Jesse Anderson in motion, and give is to Cobb, and Cobb picks up about 4 yards over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Johnny Holland on the tackle.
See what happens here. The key here, Tim, is Bob Nelson, number 79, the nose tackle, who tries to hold that double team. You see him hold those 2 blockers? That frees up Holland to come in and make the play. Good team defense. The nose occupying two offensive linemen, allowing the linebacker to come in and make the play.
3rd down, nearly 4, required for a first down. The Buccaneers, 2nd offensive possession, just over their 40. Under pressure, the release man Cobb, and he has a first down. Testaverde slinging it out there with Harris boiling in on him. Burnell Dent, the linebacker, forced him out of bounds.
You wonder how he got this ball away, Tim, because Tony Bennett, you'll see him coming to the left side of your screen there, comes through scot-free. No one picks him up. Cobb is a release man here, and he's a hot man on the dog, comes up with the catch. But again, Testaverde stood in there, looking at Blitzer right away, staring him right in the eyes, hitting a safety valve there for a couple of yards.
First down at their 41-yard line. Quick release this time, broken up, intended for Ron Hall. Brian Noble, the linebacker, diving in to knock it down. That'll be 2nd and 10. Well, the sun coming out here in Milwaukee. Temperature scheduled to be in the mid-40s here this afternoon. They were talking about a warmer day, Irv, but this certainly is good football weather, even for these warm weather Buccaneers.
Great football weather. I remember being here a few years ago when it wasn't like this. It was about 15 below zero when I was playing for the Rams and playing the Packers for an NFC Championship game here. Yes, this is a great day.
I want to hear more about that.
You'll hear about it.
On 2nd down, Cobb gets about 4 yards to midfield for the Buccaneers. And the day that you played here was icy weather, but it also had something to do with a guy by the name of Carroll Dale, a great old Packer receiver. What happened that day, Herb?
You're opening old wounds. It was 40 degrees right now. It's like about 15 degrees below that day. And Carroll Dale caught a touchdown pass from me in the corner. The Packers wound up winning the game 28-7, but the most important thing about that was that the next week, 8 days later, they played Dallas in that famous Ice Bowl game up in Green Bay.
It's 3rd down and 7 at midfield. Testaverde hits Anderson, and Anderson has a first down to the 41-yard line of the Packers.
Tim, if you want to look at maybe Testaverde now in terms of what he's doing differently, it seems like he's releasing the ball much quicker. You know, the Packers, when they read pass routes, go short, middle, and long, and Tampa Bay would do it a little differently. Today, he seems to be going back quick rhythm, getting rid of the ball quickly, and finding those open receivers in the short zones.
3 of 5 passing. Ray Perkins referred to some technical things that he was unhappy with in Testaverde's performance prior to his benching. He wouldn't tell us specifically what those were, but perhaps you've touched on one of them. Testaverde making a quicker decision, releasing the ball on short drops.
Everything has been 1, 2, 3 throw, Tim. Everything on quick motion. Number 97, Tim Harris, at the lower part of your screen here, comes in scot-free, it seems, but Testaverde gets the ball over his head. Now watch what happens to him here. Well, oh boy. Almost had a chance to get the quarterback. Almost had a chance to knock down the pass. Almost had a chance to make a tackle. I didn't do any of it.
He does give himself a lot of chances, though.
That's
Harris.
right. Yeah.
2nd down, about 9. For the 1-yard pickup. Patterson and Burnell Dent in again defensively. That means the rush is coming. And Reggie Cobb out the right side gets about 3 yards.
Nelson made the tackle.
Really interesting concept here, Tim. The Packers that time went in sort of an odd man look to the weak side. All that means is that they had somebody over the center's nose, and they had a wide base defense to the side the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran. And it seems like on 1st down, they're throwing the ball. 2nd and long, they're running the ball when you expect them to throw it. And I think Tampa Bay simply wants to get personnel mismatches on the field, throw the ball against the Packers' run defense, run the ball against their pass defense.
Now Blaze Winter and Tony Bennett come in defensively. They've been using a lot of personnel defensively. Testaverde's got the tight end Hall. 1st down, Tampa Bay inside the 10 of Green Bay.
82 Ron Hall.
Number 82, Ron Hall, the tight end position, told us last night, for the last few weeks, I've been open all day. I wish they'd throw the ball to me more. I hope they'd throw it to me tomorrow because I know I can do some business. Here he does on a seam pattern, goes straight upfield. Big catch for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Hall is back in the offense.
27-yard gain for Ron Hall, who has only 22 catches coming in. Chuck Cecil and Mark Murphy, the safeties, made the tackle, and you can see they didn't throw them at all last week. So the Buccaneers with the first scoring threat, apart from the field goal try by Green Bay. Anderson is pulled down by Harris from behind. Tim Harris fought off the block of Reggie Cobb.
Harris made the stop.
No gain on the play.
Number 97, Tim Harris again, also down as a down lineman. You see at the top of your screen, number 97, coming on a fairly aggressive charge, takes on the blocker there, Cobb, and falls off that block and makes the play. He's so quick, Tim. He can take on lead blockers, knock them off, and fill back inside. He does everything so well. He's a big linebacker, very aggressive defensive lineman. He plays defensive end and does it all well.
I think he's a great player in this league, Tim Harris, and will be for a long time. Great attitude also. From the 10-yard line on 2nd down. Anderson can't hold on. A diving try by Gary Anderson. He was wide open. Testaverde might have just thrown that a little too quick for him because Anderson had a lot of room in the end zone to run.
And all the room he needed, and Johnny Holland can thank his lucky stars the ball was high because number 50 was responsible for Anderson coming out of the backfield. You'll see him pick him up here now. Anderson coming up straight upfield. Holland, the linebacker, is responsible for picking him up here. And by golly, the ball's just overthrown.
Well, now they get Burnell Dent on, who normally is on those passing downs, so they might have been thinking run. Hank Buller now sends out his pass defense group, and that means Dent replacing Holland at linebacker, Butler and Pitts into the secondary. 3rd down. Testaverde to Anderson at the 5. Picks his way. The ball is loose. Packers have it.
Anderson made the reception, fumble recovered by the Packers.
So the turnover bug continues to plague the Bucs.
Tim, Tampa Bay had everything they wanted. Testaverde does a beautiful job reading the defense this time and coming back. Watch this. Reads right side. Okay, I recognize the defense. Come back to my back. Bang. Hits to Anderson coming across field. He does everything well here except when he's hit, coughs up the football. The Packers make a big recovery.
Don Majkowski on the sidelines, got the shades on here as the sun comes out, and he's working out of uniform, signaling in the plays, assisting in that role with Blair Keel, the backup quarterback today. And the Packers take over at their 3 on the fumble recovery by Bennett. Woodside eluded the first tackler, but wound up with only about a 2-yard pickup to the 5.
Woodside, the ball carrier.
Tim, we'll take another look at the fumble in a second here. Jerry Holmes, the defensive back for the Green Bay Packers, number 44, does a great job punching this ball out. Now, take a look here as Anderson comes upfield. You'll see right here he's hit, and Holmes punches that ball out. Now, it's a fumble because he wasn't down. His knee's up. The ball punches out of there before he hits the ground. Therefore, the Packers force the fumble and recover.
Second and 8.
Big play inside the 5-yard line.
Good
Tony
drive.
Bennett picking it up, yeah.
Good drive by the Buccaneers. Ends in disaster at the 3. And Green Bay trying to come out from the hole now. Hansen to the 7-yard line. Got about 2. And it'll leave a passing down here for the Packers. That brings on Query.
The one thing Tampa Bay does well, I mean, you do a lot of things well defensively, but it's very difficult to sweep that defense. With a 3-man front and 4 linebackers, they're very mobile people. It's very hard to get outside of them. They do a great job in lateral pursuit. So wide plays like that would be very tough to come up with much yardage against this Tampa Bay defense.
On the Packers 6.
Carl Weathers joins Query, Sharpe, Kemp as wide receivers. Herman Fontenot is the lone setback, and they'll throw it from the gun. High snap. Dilweg got to make a good catch. Has his man Query. First down, Green Bay. And a flag on the play. Could be a late hit. Out to the 27-yard line. But the flag is back at the line of scrimmage.
Defense, number 51, lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. First down.
Roderick Thomas in on the passing defense, charged with offside.
Boy, from the linebacker position, lined up offside, but Dilweg did a good job handling his ball. Now, Jeff Query on the outside here is a real quick receiver, has excellent speed, and oftentimes defensive backs will underestimate his ability to get deep. He's one of the fastest players on this Packer team, comes up with a key play.
Well, there could have been a late hit call on that one as well, but it's first down, Green Bay at the 26. Sharpe may have a first down. It appears he does. Haddix made the stop with Eugene Marv, number 99, there as well. Good pass from Dilweg on the run to his left.
Very difficult throw. Very difficult throw. Any quarterback, right hand rolling to his left, has to kind of square the shoulders to make that delivery. Dilweg did it very well, picking up Sharpe coming across as the team's leading receiver and one of the top receivers in the league.
Big day last week. The big season. Dilweg 4 of 6 passing. And quickly the Packers come from their 3-yard line out to the 37. Haddix. Michael Haddix. And about a 5-yard gain. I'm sure most of our viewers know we have 2 Haddixes in the game, and yes, they are related. They're first cousins. Down in Tennessee, Wayne for the Bucs, and this man, number 35, Michael, ball carrier on that play for Green Bay. Second down and 6. Minnesota on top of the Bears early. Ball at the 41-yard line as time expires. That is the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing, the Green Bay Packers nothing. Sunshine over Milwaukee County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tim Ryan with Irv Cross, where we have a scoreless first quarter just completed. A missed field goal try by Chris Jacke of Green Bay from 53 yards out. And then Tampa Bay marching down to the 3-yard line of Green Bay, but a fumble by Gary Anderson stopping that drive. And Green Bay has possession now at their own 41, working now left to right. Second down and 6. Dilweg, short drop. He has Sharpe. Sharpe gets away from Haddix and has a first down. Packers to the 44-yard line as Dilweg on the money. And his third start as a Packer. He's got a little Packer history in him.
Yeah, his grandfather played for the Green Bay Packers between 1927 and 34. And there he is, Lavi Dilweg. We told him we were going to do this today. He said, oh, boy, that's great. You know, he's really excited about knowing that people knew that his grandfather was
3 world championship teams, one of them in 1930. And in fact, I saw Dilweg checking out of the hotel this morning, and I mentioned the photograph, and I said, you know, we're trying to locate which man in that photo is your granddad. He says he's number 22. He didn't hesitate. He knew exactly. First down, Packers. Haddix. And Haddix gets about 3 yards. So Green Bay driving now in Tampa Bay territory in the scoreless football game. Dilweg 5 of 7 in the passing department. Newton made the tackle along with Eugene Marv. Defensively, these Bucks lost starters Kurt Jarvis and Jim Scow to injuries, both gone for the season.
Second and 8.
But along their offensive line has been where their real problems have been, and we'll touch on that when they get the ball once more. Shuffling up the linebackers today, disappointed with Broderick Thomas's performance a week ago. Murphy moving over to that left linebacker spot. On second down, Dilweg trying to find an open man, unloads. He's got West. The ball is loose in the end zone. It'll be Green Bay ball, but he was not in the end zone. Packers want a touchdown, but there is no signal. It looked like he coughed it up at about the 1-yard line.
holy smokes.
Now, did that ball go into the end zone for a touchback, or did it go out of bounds before it got over the goal line?
The ball was fumbled on the 1-yard line, went into the end zone and out of bounds. It'll be Tampa Bay's ball on the 1, first and 10.
Oh my, what a break.
It's a turnover, Tim, because you must retain possession of the ball going in the end zone. Now watch, you see what happens here. 86, Ed West is hit right on the 2-yard line. Now, had the ball not gone out of bounds, well, there it is.
Packers and the Buccaneers continue to shoot themselves in the feet, as we just saw a terrific play by Anthony Dilweg getting the pass to Ed West. A good catch, a good run for 41 yards, and then suddenly he fumbles the ball, stripped away by Hamilton, and went into the end zone. And that was a killer. They've each had a turnover right down inside the 5-yard line.
That was the key, Tim. Had that ball going out of bounds before it reached the end zone, the Packers would have retained possession right there, possession where it went out. But because it went in the end zone and out of bounds, it forced a turnover.
So the Buccaneers now start from the shadow of their goal line. Cobb gets about a yard.
Take a look at the fumble again, Tim. West gets hit around the 5-yard line, number 86. You'll see there's contact right there. Now the ball comes out. Now it goes in the end zone, across the plane of the goal line, and then out of bounds through the end zone. Had it gone out before it crossed the plane of the goal line, the Packers would have retained possession. But because it went out of bounds through the end zone, they lose it.
Second and 9.
Second and 9. Cobb and Anderson, the running backs for the Bucks. Testaverde 6 of 9 passing to this point. Gary Anderson gets a little bit to make it to Cobb again. Cobb out to the 5-yard line. And it'll leave third down and about 7. Passing unit comes on for the Buccaneers. And that brings on 6 new defenders for Green Bay. Vernell Dent replaces Johnny Holland. I'm waiting for a collision between these two teams going on and off the field here. I mean, you've got 5 guys coming on for the Bucks and 6 for the Pack. That's a lot of moving beef.
Well, it could happen because both teams are on the same sideline. Normally they're on opposite sidelines, but here they stand right next to each other.
That is unusual. A loose ball, Testaverde in the end zone. The Packers diving in. Who's got it? The Bucs retain possession. The ball actually jumped back out of the end zone, and Tampa Bay hangs onto the ball. Rob Taylor, the right tackle.
You wonder what's going on up here between Randy Grimes and Bob Nelson. They know each other pretty well. Grimes just snaps his ball. Well, it's a good snap, right at the shoulder length. Testaverde should have handled it. It was a little stiff, but it was right where he could handle the ball easily. It just went right through his hands, and they were lucky to come up with it here.
Were they ever? Tony Bennett was diving in there trying to get possession. Royals standing right at the back of the end zone for the punt. Query waiting for it at the 45. Whatever happens, Green Bay gets good field position. Pretty good punt. Query got some running room. All the way inside the 25-yard line. They'll spot it at the 23, forced out by Odie Harris. And there's a little scuffle on the field as the frustration of these turnovers and near turnovers starting to make itself felt. 10:46 remains in the first half at Milwaukee, still scoreless. Tim Ryan, Irv Cross here at Milwaukee, where you see we are scoreless in the second quarter of play. Each team has coughed up a turnover, and each time it was inside the 5-yard line. So scoring opportunities have gone awry for both Green Bay and Tampa Bay. And the Packers will have the football at the 23-yard line after Query's good return of the Royals punt from the back of the end zone. Woodside, good piece of running by Woodside, has a first down. Green Bay squirting between tacklers. Finally stopped by Ricky Reynolds. And the Pack has a first down near the 12-yard line. Now they back it up to the 13.
First down, Tim, but I think the thing that the Packers are probably most happy about is that Alan Weingrad, the tackle, pulled and led on that play and looked pretty good coming around the outside. You can see the story right here in terms of why the Packers have been threatening here all game long. Their average possession and starting their drives is around the 43-yard line. And Tampa Bay, on the other hand, has been back on their 15.
But the Pack squandered their best opportunity on the fumble by West, stripped away on a good play by Hamilton of the Bucs. With Haddix, and Haddix gets inside the 10-yard line. Tampa Bay 25th against the rush in the National Football League. So you can expect the Packers to try to pound away. And conversely, Green Bay 23rd against the pass. Although the Buccaneers would like to establish that run, that's when Testaverde's been at his best.
A lot of that rushing yardage has come against Tampa Bay, though, Tim, because they've had so many changes up front with their defensive line. Jarvis, they're normal starting those tackles out. Tim Newton's playing it now and doing a good job. But when you take your starter out, you miss a guy like that because that's a key spot in any defensive front. Nose tackle.
Rob White in defensively now for John Cannon at right defensive end. Recent acquisition for Tampa Bay. Michael Haddix, good tackle. Diving in, Mark Robinson from the safety position.
This is the kind of a play a defensive back lives for, Tim. Mark Robinson, number 30, is playing a strong safety position. His key here is the tight end, number 86, him blocked down. As soon as that happens, he's free. Now you come up and force. Mandarich should have blocked him, ran past him, and by golly, Robinson comes up with a key play.
Loss on the play will back it up for a 2nd and 12 to the 13-yard line.
Again, the key for the strong safety, Tim, is he keys that tight end. When the tight end blocks down, he's free. Bang, come up and force the run.
Flare pass out for Haddix. Inside the 5.
Haddix.
Linebacker Winston Moss made the tackle there. Moss back outside at right linebacker from the right inside spot. He has been playing for several weeks.
It's a little bit of a change-up, Tim. Haddix is basically a running back in the Green Bay Packers offense today. He's been featured a little bit on some of the passing game. Now, they normally would like to throw the ball to their halfbacks, but Haddix is basically a big, strong inside runner. Made a key catch there on Winston Moss.
3rd and goal. Query and Weathers in at wide receivers. Herman Fontenot, the so-called flush package. 7 defensive backs in for the Buccaneers in retaliation. Touchdown, Sterling Sharpe. So the Packers here in Milwaukee, the second of 3 home games, get the crowd alive here with the first touchdown of the game.
Tim Sharpe makes a good move here. Number 31, Rodney Rice, is the man on him, but Sterling Sharpe is very strong. Actually, there's a pick pad in there between Sharpe and number 81, Perry Kemp, knocking off Rice. Rice couldn't fight his way through, and that's what he's complaining about right now, that he was picked off. Should have been offensive interference, but Packers come up with a touchdown.
How many times have you seen that pick call for interference?
You don't see it very often, that's right. But defensive backs always want it, though.
Jacke with a point after, and the home team Packers have a 7-0 lead. Well, if this fan has got that figured out right, they'll be alive for quite some time, won't they? That's a pretty good banner. Even those of us who aren't fans of Milli Vanilli know by now they're the group that didn't sing on their record. Willie Drury from the goal line. Flag down as he gets over the 16, and more flags fly.
Jacke Harris made the tackle.
Jacke Harris made the stop, but the penalty is against the returning team, the Buccaneers. Illegal push in the back, it would appear. And as we get this call, a reminder that next week we've got more NFL action on CBS beginning at 12:30 Eastern. Some of you will see Detroit at Chicago, and others will watch the Bucs at home against Atlanta. It all starts Sunday at 12:30 Eastern right here on CBS. And so much of this playoff picture is still to come to fruition. The penalty against Perkins, Bruce Perkins. And so Testaverde again gets some nice field position to start from here. He's back at his 7-yard line.
Yeah, the average starting your drives on the 15, which is a pretty tough spot for any quarterback to open his offensive drive, but he's had some success, but errors again, fumbles to hurt them.
Packers by 7. 7:07 to go in the first half of play. Reggie Cobb to the 11-yard line.
Holland made the tackle.
Johnny Holland and Scott Stephen made the tackle for the Packers. Interesting to hear Ray Perkins talk about leadership last night as something that he's been looking for some guys to step up and do it. Green Bay going 23 yards in 5 plays. Sharpe for the touchdown. And that pass from Testaverde intended for Bruce Hill. Incomplete. Third down. Scary Holmes had the coverage.
Little high, Tim. You know, again, earlier in the first quarter, Testaverde had lots of success with quick drops. 1, 2, 3 deliver or hit an outlet man right away. But the longer he holds the ball, you know, the more difficult it seems to have completing passes.
Third down and 7 from the 10-yard line. Packers have everybody up but 2. Testaverde gets good time, and it's incomplete, intended for Hill. Hill looked inside. Testaverde threw it outside. The ball was long, and Tampa Bay will punt. Bruce Hill back in action. He's been bothered by shoulder and rib injuries, and Perkins says he's been missed.
Well, number 97, Tim Harris, came from his defensive end position, working run-on-one on Paul Gruber. Nice move back inside. Couldn't quite get rid of the big guy, though. Gruber does a pretty good job protecting him, and Vinny thought he should have had completion. Apparently, he thought Hill misread the pattern.
Yeah, he was motioning as though he was expecting it out. That's where he threw it, and Hill went in. The Royals again getting used to that real estate behind his own goal line. And this one is short. A high punt coming down at the 38 and then bouncing forward. Flags are down back at the line of scrimmage, however. Query looked like he was going to try to make a fair catch and looked up into the sun, let it bounce. 36 yards.
He did the right thing, Tim. This is a baseball stadium we're working in the field going his way set up.
And the penalty is going to be against Tampa Bay. Looks like an offside. See whether Green Bay is going to keep it or not.
And with the direction of the field, you will find yourself facing the sun quite a bit. You see Perkins right there shielding his eyes from the sun.
Ineligible, number 56, downfield. The penalty is declined. First down, Green Bay.
And that punt, Query is looking right into the sun, so he let it go.
And we'll be back in Milwaukee in a moment. 7-0 Pack. Ryan Irv Cross, Milwaukee County Stadium, 6:15 to go first half. The Pack on top by 7 and good field position. At the 46-yard line, the Giants and the Eagles tied at 7 in the second quarter. The unbeaten Giants trying to stay that way. Look at this serve, 20-0. Minnesota at home against the Bears.
Wow. That is a shocker. You know, but maybe the Minnesota Vikings have finally come together. Everybody at preseason thought they would be a playoff team or perhaps go to the Super Bowl. Maybe they're getting it together now.
2 touchdowns by Herschel Walker in that game from 2 yards and on a 17-yard pass. First down, Packers again in Tampa territory. Dilweg too low for Sharpe, incomplete. For an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Tim, you and Irv were talking about Herschel. Here is his touchdown reception from Rich Gannon from 17 yards out. 112 yards of total offense for Herschel so far, and still about 12 minutes to go in the first half. 20-0 Minnesota. Back to Tim and Irv in Milwaukee.
Well, thanks, Greg. The Vikings, a team many thought could be in the Super Bowl. All kinds of bad things happened to them all season long. Maybe they're getting it together, as you said, Irv. And Bears been going so well, I guess they're ready for a little dip.
I think Herschel Walker feels pretty good about the day he's having. He's been waiting a long time for a day like this.
Second down and 10. Dilweg has time, and for Woodside, broken up nicely. Diving in with Mark Robinson to knock it away.
Woodside, the antenna receiver.
Tim, the Buccaneers run an interesting defensive scheme. They'll run, they call 4 short, 2 deep, but simply means that they'll have 3 linebackers and 2 deep backs on the corners and 2 deep safeties to cover for them. And sometimes they'll go back, make it look like a zone. Other times they'll go back, make it look like a zone and jump into a man-to-man coverage. That's what that was. It looked like a zone. Dilweg read zone, thought he had a gap, but bang, right away. Mark Robinson jumped right on it because it was a man-to-man coverage underneath.
See, Green Bay has been dominating play in this quarter, and it has produced the only touchdown of the game so far. High snap handled by Dilweg. Pulled down from behind, but managed to pick up about 4. Short of the first down, however. So the Buccaneers do the job defensively on this series.
Tim, this is the thing Ray Perkins was telling us about Dilweg. When he runs to make yardage. Whereas with Majkowski, he would run to try to buy time to throw. Dilweg right now brings the ball down. He's trying to get upfield with it, and McCants makes the tackle because those linebackers from the Bucs have been told today when he brings the ball down, come up and play the run.
McCants missed last week's game against the 49ers with a knee injury. Some swelling after he twisted it in practice a week ago Thursday, but he's back out there in action today. Low snap handled by Bracken, and Bracken gets the punt down inside the 15, and it's out to the 21-yard line. We'll be back with a flag on the play on the punt return. We've had a flag, I think, on every kicking situation so far in this game. Let's see what Jerry Austin, our referee, comes up with here after consultation with his crew. 35-yard punt.
Illegal block from behind, number 31. Half a distance to the goal. First down.
That is Rodney Rice, and so once again, the Buccaneers get backed up deep. He is on Heisman Trophy weekend. You'll see those 2 games followed by the Heisman Trophy Award next Saturday at 6:30 Eastern Time. And Andre Ware, the winner a year ago. Irv, you were there.
Yeah, he won it last year as a junior, and you can very well have a junior winner again this year, Tim, because Ty Detmer from BYU as a junior and broke all of Ware's records.
Oh, what about the other guy?
You got the Golden Dover?
Yeah. We'll come back to that, you can be sure. On first down, Ron Hall has about a 9-yard gain out to the 17-yard line. His second catch of the day. And the guy, as you said earlier, when he caught the first one, wants the ball more, feels that they should be coming to him, and is not afraid to say so.
Well, he wants to get involved in the offense, but let's clean up that Heisman Trophy business now. I said Ty Detmer was a junior from BYU, broke all of Ware's records, and
And I said the other guy, meaning the Rocket, who else, is also a junior.
From Notre Dame.
That's right, Ismael. Well, I don't have a vote, but in my heart, I'll be cheering for him. Also, Kingler from Houston, the contender. He's also junior. Second and a yard. And in and out of the hands of Bruce Hill. Testaverde had some mustard on that one.
He had mustard on it, Tim, but I have to believe, again, the sun was a big factor. I remember playing in a stadium years ago, and we worked that sideline over there. We always tried to have our receivers have their backs going the other way. When you're facing that sun, there's a blind spot there, and just for an instant, you can't quite see. You see the outline of the ball, but you can't see it clearly enough. It looks like a black dot coming at you. And Hill just lost that ball in the sun.
I noticed Hill make a motion to Testaverde, taking the blame for not hanging on to it, pointing to his number. It is 3rd down and 2. One of those early important plays. Cobb, and he's got the first down out to the 20-yard line. You look for those kinds of plays during the course of a game where a team just got to make it happen in order to keep themselves in it. They're only down by 7, but they come through there on 3rd and short. At Milwaukee County Stadium on a bright sunny afternoon, the Green Bay Packers have a 7-0 lead. Both teams fumbling the ball inside the 5, and a missed field goal from 53 yards by Jacke, thus just a 7-0 game. On 1st down, Tampa at their own 20. Play action. In and out of the hands of Carrier. So Testaverde with 2 consecutive drops by 2 pretty sure-handed receivers.
2nd and 10.
He's really been on target too, Tim, but unfortunately he's had bad field position. Look at this. First time he started at the 9-yard line, had 3 plays, got 2 yards, and wound up punting. Next time 36, you see that 62 yards in the fumble, and then you saw the last 2 possessions. But they just can't seem to get it going. And you're backed up that deep in your own, next to your own goal line. It's very hard to get an offensive series going.
At the 20-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 10. And Bruce Hill has this one, and a Tampa first down. Driven back by Jerry Holmes, number 44. Mark Murphy coming in to help, number 37.
Big difference, Tim, as he saw the ball that time. This time, the ball was thrown on the opposite side of the field with Bruce Hill's back to the sun. When he turned, he saw the entire football nestled in his stomach for the completion. It's very difficult, and I know I don't want to overplay it, but that far side of the field, when you're throwing in that direction, you oftentimes will lose the football in the sun.
35-yard line, 1st down.
Man, you see Minnesota up 27-0 over the Bears, and the Eagles on top of the Giants. Should keep you up to date on those 2 important games. First down. Jesse Anderson, the tight end, in motion. And he has the ball, breaks 1 tackle, and it's dropped by Murphy at the 40-yard line, a gain of 5.
Jesse Anderson, number 89, made the reception.
Jesse Anderson this time is sort of a safety valve coming all the way across the formation. Number 39 in that tight end position. You'll see him come down to the lower part of his skin. There he goes all the way across the entire formation. He's only about 3 yards deep there as he comes up field there. Number 91, Brian Noble, takes a shot at him and misses. And finally, Mark Murphy brings him down for a short gain. But again, the idea is to simply come under those linebackers, take what the defense gives you.
Anderson took quite a hit on the play, getting some attention. Here's Gary Anderson, and Anderson gets out to about the 44-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and about a yard for Tampa Bay as they start to move the ball on the Pack. 2 minutes to go, first half.
The 2-minute warning.
Last 2 minutes to go, first half here at Milwaukee County Stadium. The Packers on top 7-0 on a Dilweg to Sterling Sharpe 4-yard pass. And it is Tampa Bay ball. They've got 3rd and a long yard. Trying to keep a good drive going. They have had bad field position throughout the half. And they fumbled the ball down inside the 5 of Green Bay. Let's see what happens here. Play action. Good protection. First down, Tampa Bay. And it is Reggie Cobb getting down to the 42-yard line of the Packers.
Well, an awful lot of things happen on that play, Tim. We'll see it. Reggie Cobb, number 33, is in his running back. He's Testaverde fakes him. He comes to the line of scrimmage and kind of gets lost in there. The linebackers lose him as he comes through there. Picks up, makes a catch for a big play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a very difficult play to defend against in a short yardage situation. You lose that running back coming through the line of scrimmage.
14-yard gain for the Bucs. Testaverde, his receiver fell down. Mark Carrier slipped to the turf. Testaverde's been victimized here by dropped passes and misplaced feet in that case by Carrier in the natural grass of Milwaukee County Stadium.
Tim, every pass Testaverde has thrown, though, except one, has been right on target. He threw one down on the end zone that was high, but everything else has been right in the midsection, right on the numbers of the players, giving them a chance to make the catches. They've made drops because of the sun and other reasons, but he's really been right on target today.
10th play of this drive. Burnell Dent comes in defensively. Tony Bennett, 2nd and 10. And a little flare pass out for Cobb. Cobb, nice move, and it's close to another first down. Bob Nelson tripped him up. The nose tackle coming way out.
Nelson made the tackle.
To make that defensive play. And they're moving the sticks again. 1:07 to go. We'll be right back. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross in Milwaukee. The Bucs driving on the Green Bay Packers, the best drive of the game for Tampa Bay, and they have been looking for offense. Look at that figure.
That's really hard to believe, and that's what part of the frustration Ray Perkins was venting last night. He says, I've never been in a position like this before. We just can't seem to come up with a combination of whatever questions we have, answers we have to our questions to get in the end zone. And it's been very frustrating for them in the last 5 weeks.
Last week's only touchdown came on defense. Wayne Haddix taking it past 65 yards on the Joe Montana pass. First down, and Testaverde eludes the sack, gets it off to Hall, and Hall picks up about 8 yards.
Hall made the reception.
Tim, you and I have talked about this many, many times, the in the grass rule. You know, when do you call it and when is it effective? It varies from time to time, but we won't have any time for the replay. It looked to me, though, at that time, Tim Harris had Testaverde long enough to have that in the grass rule invoked, but it wasn't.
On 2nd and 1, and it's in the dirt intended for Bruce Hill, and that does stop the clock for the Buccaneers.
We'll take a look at this last play with Vinny Testaverde when Tim Harris, number 97, comes from his defensive end position. Now watch this. He beats Gruber, does a pretty good job, backs rather, but does a pretty good job of getting inside. Now he has Testaverde just for an instant. Vinny spins out of
it's grasp and control.
Grasp and control. That's right. Grasp and control.
I don't think he had him there, in my opinion, and neither did the officials.
The referees agree with you, and now that I looked at it the second time, so do I.
Right. 3rd down and less than a yard. 3 tight ends in. They go to Cobb. Reggie Cobb has a first down. He gets down to the 17-yard line of Green Bay. Johnny Holland made the tackle there. 30 seconds remain first half. The Bucs take another timeout. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. The CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Green Bay Packers, and the National Football League is prohibited. Well, now they're down here in scoring territory after bad field position much of the half. What kind of offense will we see in this red zone area now?
What they've done in the past, who knows what they're going to come up with after Testaverde and Perkins finish consulting here, but number 82, Ron Hall, is a real big man inside the 20-yard line or so. He's a tight end with great speed. They like to run the seam pattern. If they come out in a formation where everybody's spread out and they have Hall inside, I would look for him to be one of his primary targets to hit in the end zone. He's a big, fast tight end. He's more like a wide receiver once he catches the football, so I would look for number 82 in this situation, Tim, right up the gut.
Chuck Cecil left the field, apparently hurt, and came back in. That's his style of play. Hurt his shoulder last week, was in and out of that game against the 49ers, but he's a tough customer. First down, Bucs. Testaverde is dropped this time, and it's number 93, Robert Brown, all the way back to the 31-yard line.
93.
Tim, Ron Hall ran the pattern I thought he would run, except he broke it to the corner, and he was wide open. Testaverde didn't see him.
So the Bucs take their final timeout. 25 seconds remaining in this first half.
We're going to take a look at it. We have a shot of Ron Hall. And number 82, the tight end, Ron Hall. He makes his release here now. Instead of coming inside, he reads the defense, and I'm going to go to the corner. Now, Testaverde's scrambling back there trying to find somebody open. He's right there in the end zone. Never sees it. He had a little heat on him. He had his mind on other things at the time, but he had time to deliver that ball. Ron Hall could very well have had 6 for the Buccaneers. Interesting guy, though, isn't he, Hall? We were talking to him last night. You know, I started out the season real hot. I was catching a lot of balls. The boys going to be a great year. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, he hasn't been that active in the pass offense, but he said every once in a while he'll come off the field and talk to the coaches and tell them what he thinks he can do. And sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, but he comes out and plays his heart out. He enjoys playing football.
I thought he made the point that he talked to Mike Shula. He didn't talk directly to Ray Perkins.
Yeah, Shula. Yeah, well, yeah, he goes to Shula. That's right. He goes to Shula, and Shula listens.
Second down from the 31-yard line, 25 seconds remaining in the first half, and the crowd getting into it now here at County Stadium, home of the Brewers. And Cobb has to come up to check the play or the count with Testaverde. And it's intended for Bruce Hill, overthrown.
Hill, the intended receiver.
Third down.
3rd and 24.
20 seconds left. Coming up at halftime, Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw with all the scores, highlights, and latest information from around the NFL. Some interesting games today. The Bears and the Vikes and the Giants and Eagles. A lot of key games. They'll bring you right up to date.
I can hardly wait to see the highlight package on that Bear-Viking game. Boy, that's unbelievable, the way the Vikings are moving the ball today.
There's Mike Shula, of course, son of Don, and brother David also coaching the league. And Mike works with the quarterbacks here. Ron Hall taking the safe route and suggesting the play will go to Mike Shula rather than the head coach, Ray Perkins. Third down. Deep sideline is complete. Carrier wide open, gets out of bounds. 14 seconds left. And he's down to the 11-yard line where Mark Lee forced him out.
Made the completion.
Tampa Bay got everything he wanted out of this, and Carrier, being a veteran receiver, knew exactly what to do with the ball once he caught it. Testaverde again doing a pretty good job of scanning the field, finds Carrier on the sideline, and he has to do a couple of things here. First of all, catch the ball and get out of bounds as quickly as you can to save as much time as you can for your offense. He did all that, and now they're set up for the field goal.
Christie will attempt the field goal on 4th down from the 24-yard line, just inside the 24. And he's got plenty of foot and 3 points.
Kick is good.
11 seconds still to play first half. The Green Bay Packers lead it 7-3. Ball back here as the Buccaneers had a drive that resulted in a 3-pointer from Steve Christie from 33 yards out. 17 plays. 4:43 off the clock. 33-yard field goal. There's Tim Harris, who spent a lot of time running around after Vinny Testaverde and had a near sack on the last drive.
Talked to him last night, Tim, and he has, I guess, 7 sacks right now. Not nearly the sack total he had a year ago at this time, but teams are double teaming and triple teaming him now, but which allows his other teammates to break free.
Wilson from the 5-yard line. And is dropped by Bruce Perkins, the backup fullback for Tampa Bay, at the 31-yard line of Green Bay with 5 seconds and a 7-3 lead. Charles Wilson, the rookie from Memphis State, is a wide receiver they think is a great prospect for them. Hasn't had a lot of action in that role so far, but a good special teamer.
Tim, when you look at this Tampa Bay team and the way Green Bay's operated in the first half, Dilweg has done a good job of operating the offense. The 7 points doesn't reflect, I'm sure, what they wanted to do, but Tampa Bay overall is also playing with an awful lot of enthusiasm this first half. So all the talk they had earlier in the week seems to be paying off in the field today.
Dilweg 8 of 12, and they'll run it to Fontenot. And Fontenot will get it out to the 42-yard line as time expires.
That is the end of the first half.
So that's the end of the first half with the score Green Bay 7, Tampa Bay 3. Our coverage will continue at County Stadium, and we're ready to start the second half. You can't come here and do a football game without having the bratwurst in Milwaukee. 7-3 game. The hometown Packers on top. And we've seen both teams penetrate down inside the 5-yard line only to lose the ball. We showed you the Ed West fumble stripped away by Harry Hamilton. Same mishap happened to the Buccaneers. Gary Anderson coughing it up. And you see in the first half, each of them with their one turnover, but in the passing yardage. Testaverde ahead of Dilweg at this point, and he's had a couple of drops along the way.
For the most part, it's been an offensive standoff. Both teams have moved the ball, and they've had some trouble holding on to with the turnovers. And again, you see Tampa Bay 13 rushes, Green Bay 11, and 24 passes and 12 passes for Green Bay. Tampa Bay would rather have a 2-to-1 run to pass ratio, but they're throwing the ball because they have to get back in this thing.
So Jacke will kick it off. The Buccaneers, as the clouds start to come across Milwaukee County Stadium, return it from the 5-yard line. Willie Drury, and Drury met at the 20-yard line with a good stiff tackle by Bryce Pop, who just was activated this week, a reserve linebacker. And Testaverde with the word from Ray Perkins. Bring on the Buccaneers.
I would suspect, Tim, at halftime, Perkins has told his club, look, let's just stay what we've been doing. The game plan is right on target. All we have to do is eliminate just a few minor problems and we'll be okay. So I suspect we're going to see the same kind of an approach this half we saw in the first half.
4-7. Buccaneers have lost 5 in a row. This is simply a must game for them. It's a big game for the Packers as well. And you can see they've been starting from their own 12-yard line on average for the first half. And here they got to start from the 20. This is Reggie Cobb, and Cobb gets close to a first down.
Holmes made the tackle.
Jerry Holmes pulls him down. Johnny Holland comes over to help out. But this Buccaneer team, a team that was talking about playoffs right at the beginning of the year, a number of injuries along the offensive line, and then 2 losses on defense to Jarvis and Scow have had an effect. Vinny Testaverde benched a couple of games, and they simply have to win here today to have any hope at a playoff this season. Second down and a yard. Cobb. Driven back, the ball is loose, picked up by the Packers. Testaverde has to get in on the tackle. And it was Scott Stephen, the linebacker, who picked up the loose ball.
Let's see if we can see what happened here, Tim. Cobb trying to get off his right guard is hit inside. It looked like it was Matt Brock who might have made him initial contact. It seems to me that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to run away from Tim Harris. This time they go away from Tim Harris' position, but Cobb's hit, and I think it was Brock who made the initial contact. Ball comes out of there. Jerry Holmes comes up with the key recovery. That's what we were talking about earlier, that the offense seems to be having everything in place except bang. They come up with these big plays and big turnovers. Murphy, 37, is the man who forced the fumble.
Scott Stephen returning it. And we may have the replay men looking at it. Yes, we do. And it is George Sladke looking at it. And there is the turnover picture. In the first 6 games, when they were up 4-2 on the season, only 8 turnovers. In the last 5, 22.
The call stands as ruled on the field. Fumble. First down, Green Bay.
So George Sladke, the replay official, confirming that the play was indeed a fumble. So Green Bay now at the 19-yard line as turnovers continue to plague the Buccaneers. Out of the I formation, Woodside has some running room to the 10. Keith Woodside, who wants to run the ball more, gets a big gainer there.
I tell you, Tim, the guy that makes this play go is the tight end, number 86, Ed West. Gets a good cutoff block there, allowing Woodside to come back inside. Now watch this play as it runs. Number 33 takes the ball, and he'll come all the way back against the grain, and because Ed West was able to cut off that guy in front of him and allow him to come back and make that yardage.
Second down and about 2. Haddix dropped the ball, but was able to hang on to it. He got to the 2-yard line. Winston Moss and Harry Hamilton on the stop, and Haddix nearly lost it back to the Bucs.
Boy, I tell you, wonder what's going on. Both teams get near the 5-yard line. They just can't seem to hold on to the football. But, you know, they're anxious to get in the end zone. You can understand that. But, by golly, you know, Haddix, again, almost giving that one up.
Ron Hallstrom lines up as a tight end at the left side, in effect a tackle eligible, and had to report as such. And they roll out to the right. And touchdown. Haddix. Very alert play by Dilweg. He had West appeared to be his primary target running to the corner, Irv, but when he saw some coverage coming into it, we'll see on the replay how alert he was.
Well, Tim, what happens here, the offensive backs cross. Look at this. Now the middle linebacker says, which way should I go? What happens is you wind up crossing your eyes because it's very difficult to pick up the man you're supposed to key on. And here he is in the end zone. Scott Fleece, free. When they cross in the backfield like that, it changes the responsibilities for the linebackers on goal line defense. Touchdown.
Perfect play by the Packers, and they open now a 14-3 lead.
On his touchdown play, Thompson goes this way, Haddix comes here, and watch what happens to the linebacker reaction. They lose him. Boom. They cross the backfield, the linebackers go away, and suddenly there's Haddix out in the end zone all by himself. Well, what a great goal line play. It's exciting to see a play like that develop.
Jacke kicks it off. The Packers 14-3. The lights have been turned on here at Milwaukee County Stadium. Drury from the 4. Stops in his tracks at the 22-yard line. Number 88, Charles Wilson.
Wilson made the tackle.
So the Packers 18 yards in 3 plays. And the touchdown pass from 2 yards out to Michael Haddix. 14-3 lead. Another Buccaneer turnover, their second of the game, setting up the Packer opportunity. Fumble by Reggie Cobb. Now the Buccaneers will try from the 22. Reggie Cobb gets about 8.
Cobb on the completion.
Harris chasing Testaverde from the backside.
He's probably wishing his arms were 6 inches longer. But Testaverde does a good job of averting his sack here. Number 97, Tim Harris comes through scot-free. No one can get him because the guard, Carl Bax, can't get out. Testaverde feels that pressure, rolls nonchalantly to his right, and completes the pass. Really nice move on Testaverde's part, too. Seeing the blitz there, seeing Harris there, and just stepping aside very coolly and completing the pass.
Second down, about a yard. Cobb again, and Cobb dives for the first down. So they come right back to Reggie Cobb, who was the man who dropped the ball that set up the Packers score, and he delivers a first down. Matt Brock made the tackle, and they're out to the 34-yard line of Tampa Bay. Testaverde 14 of 24 on the afternoon. And he's got Bruce Hill. First down, Tampa Bay to the 42 of Green Bay. 21-yard gain.
Tim, this play works well again. You start with the quarterback. Offensive line, good pass protection. Vinny again reading the defense, finding it. Here's my guy over here, Bruce Hill, working one-on-one on the defensive back here. Number 22, Mark Lee. Again, standing back, coolly reading the defense, picking up the open receiver. I think he said he wanted to really concentrate on coming in this game today.
Ron Hall, and a tough hit on him by Tim Harris, but Hall held onto the ball. About a 5-yard gain. Hall has to adjust his helmet strap after that little rock from Harris.
He's probably also hearing a few bells in his ears right now, too. But Harris is all over the place. One of the most versatile players in the league, playing as a down lineman. This time, he's a linebacker on pass coverage, dropping back into the flat. Now, once that ball is thrown, his responsibility is to get up here and cover this guy. And the best way he knows how to do it is to put him on his back. And it was really a terrific play by Tim Harris.
Gary Anderson, the pass a little too high from Testaverde. Third down. And there you see Testaverde taking the rap for that one as he pointed to himself, to Gary Anderson.
Again, talking to Vinny last night, though, Tim, he was talking about how important it was for somebody to take charge as Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. And even if he had to shake guys up in the huddle to throw somebody out of the game, if it came to that, he was the guy who was going to play that role today. But he has to do it with his performance.
Blaze Winter and Burnell Dent in defensively on third down for Green Bay. And the pass out the right side for Carrier, incomplete. Testaverde took a pretty good shot from Tim Harris after he released the ball.
Carrier, the intended receiver.
The question here now, Tim, is whether or not number 22, Mark Lee, was in contact with Carrier 5 yards upfield. No, he wasn't. He bumped, well, there's another bump there. Incidental contact and an incomplete pass. But remember, once the receiver gets 5 yards upfield, the defensive back has to give him some room. Can't touch him.
Number 3, Mark Royal, will do the punting.
So the Packers stop the Buccaneers drive, and Royals will try to pop one inside the 10-yard line if he can. Query standing right on the 10. Whistles everywhere. It looked like Packer jumped, and he may have been drawn since the whistle blew, stopping the play.
They're calling delay of game on
yeah.
Tampa Bay, Tim. It took them too long to get the ball snapped. And the reason, here it is right here.
Delay of game, 5 yards, still fourth down.
Doesn't affect them that much, really, because in this position of the field, this simply means the punter can stretch out now and kick it just a little further. You know, just a very difficult kick, this 40-yard, 50-yard kick for a punter. When you're trying to squeeze that ball inside the field of play, so you're only kicking about 35 or 40 yards. It's a tough pooch kick. This one makes it just a little easier.
Line of scrimmage at the 43-yard line now, Green Bay. Royals standing at his own 42, hits it from the 45. And it bounces inside the 20 and out of bounds inside the 15. So that turned out pretty well for the Buccaneers. Green Bay will have it when we come back.
So this has nothing to do with Heisman to turn out, okay, except that Ty Detmer as a junior, I thought he'd have a phenomenal year, and he'd be my first choice.
Well, I don't have a vote, but if I did, I'm just trying to make sure that Domer gets all the shots he can. I like the rocket for the Heisman. On first down, it's dropped by Woodside. It'll leave 2nd and 10 as
that was one of those passes, Tim, where Woodside just took the pass for granted. It was right in his hands. He looked upfield just for a split second to try to pick up some running room and drop the ball. And take a look what happened to Dilweg when it was all over. Quarterbacks really pay the price in this league when they pass the football, Tim. Dilweg finds Woodside, and he coughs it up, but Broderick Thomas says hello. A little late hit, though, really.
Yeah, but he just put the chest pad on him there. I think Dilweg was doing a little Academy Award job there. 2nd and 10. And he goes right back to the same play, and it's well covered by the Bucks. Woodside wrapped up by Harry Hamilton, number 39. That'll leave 3rd down and 7. Now, again, you look for these kind of key plays in a game. 8:36 to go, 14-3 Packer lead. Clearly, the Buccaneers need to stop them right here, as well as the Packers needing to keep the ball. 3rd down and 7. And look at that halftime score. Minnesota 34-3. And Indianapolis beating up on Sam Weich's Bengals, who have been an enigmatic team this year. 3rd down. They're blitzing. Dilweg sails it up for Sharpe, and he overthrows it. So the Buccaneers do the job, and they'll get the ball back with decent field position for a change.
A good read on Dilweg's part. The ball is just a little long. Sterling Sharpe being covered here one-on-one by number 31, Rodney Rice, realizes the dog is on, and their rule here is when you see the blitz, run a fly pattern. Get upfield as fast as you can. Simply overthrown. See, Sterling, who talks constantly, is telling his teammates what happened.
Drury back to receive the punt from Bracken. Standing inside his 5. There's Willie Drury at the 44-yard line of the Bucks. And Bracken gets a pretty good punt away. A fair catch signal at the 44. So Tampa Bay with good field position now. 7:59 to go in the third. Still in the hunt at 4-7. They need a win. Maybe the Bears, losing today, might be a little soft at home next week. You never know. Atlanta will be at Tampa Bay. Bucks have to win here today, no question about it. Those are the games that those of you watching today. We'll see one or the other of next Sunday. NFL action on CBS Sports. Best field position of the entire day, starting a series for the Buccaneers. They're at their own 44, down 14-3. Testaverde looking for some help and just chucks it away here, being pursued by Robert Brown, and the flag flies. In danger of being sacked, he'll be called with grounding the football intentionally.
Intentional grounding, number 14. Lost it down. Took it down.
Tim, I'll tell you why that penalty was called. The referee is the only one who calls intentional grounding. He has to see the quarterback and also the receiver at the same time. Testaverde, feeling the heat here, is flushed out by Robert Brown. Now the referee is right behind him. You see him? So he has a good line of vision on where the ball is going, and he sees that Testaverde doesn't have a receiver in the flight of the ball. Had he been anywhere else, he might have gotten away with it. But again, the referee is the only one who calls intentional grounding. And he has to see both the receiver and the quarterback to make that call.
2nd and 10 from the 35. Screen. Anderson, incomplete.
Tell you one thing, this defensive series for the Green Bay Packers so far, the first 2 plays in this drive belong to Robert Brown, flushing Testaverde out of the pocket, forcing a penalty, and this time getting his hand up, diverting, obscuring Anderson's view to force that incomplete pass.
I said 2nd and 10. Of course, it was 2nd and 20 with the penalty, and it's now 3rd and 20 at the 34-yard line of Tampa Bay. There's Robert Brown, 2 good defensive plays in a row. And you can see the Bucks have been able to move the ball somewhat, but they've come up with only 3 points. Turnovers have hurt them, 2 key ones. Pillow and Drury in now as extra wide receivers. They're spread across the field. Carrier and Hill. Blitz on, and Testaverde flushed from the pocket. A flag is down. Trying to get it deep for Pillow, incomplete. Pillow wanting a penalty against Ron Pitts. None coming, but back at the line of scrimmage, a holding signal from Jerry Austin. You note that 60 on his arm and 34 on his chest. The 60 being worn in tribute to Dick Jorgensen, the referee who died before the start of the season. In fact, this was his crew.
That's right. We have 2 fouls on the offense. Number 62 was illegally downfield. Number 72 was holding. Both penalties are declined. 4th down.
Taylor for holding, Beckles for illegally downfield. And 5 penalties, 2 turnovers. The Buccaneers continue to hurt themselves. That's 5 incompletions in a row now for Testaverde, who had it going for a while.
Yep.
Well, standing at his 20. Nearly blocked. Wilson had a huge hole up the middle. Query, meanwhile, brings it out to the 33-yard line for Green Bay.
Official timeout as Query returns to
We'll be back.
the 34-yard line.
Take a look at this punt that was almost blocked by Wilson and the Green Bay Packers. Take a look at this now. Christie, the punter, steps up. Now what Wilson should do is level off. He actually runs too deep. If he comes in about 5 yards before he reaches the kicker, gets his body across his foot, that's a guaranteed block. But he comes up too deep. He actually runs past the kicking spot, or the block point, and almost runs into the kicker. He's so conscious about trying not to run into the kicker. He did a good job of that, but he just ran in too far. Boy, I don't know how that's why he missed it. He's thinking to himself, too, the next time I'll just level off and take that thing off his foot.
Rookie wide receiver Charles Wilson. This is now a couple of minutes later. He's still upset with himself. 1st down, Packers, meanwhile, at their own 33. action. Good fake by Dilweg. He's got West wide open. West all the way to the 22-yard line. The identical play that was a near touchdown in the first half. West had the ball stripped.
Almost the same play, Tim. Ed West, who doesn't catch very many balls, has the reputation here in Green Bay as being a great blocking tight end. As a matter of fact, the head coach here calls him, Infante calls him Velcro, because once he blocks on you, he sticks to you. This time, he's a primary receiver coming across in zone coverage, wide open, getting behind those linebackers, scot-free. This time when he's hit, he holds on to the football. The last time, remember, he coughed it up to the end zone. But Ed West coming up with another big reception.
45-yard gain to the 22-yard line. Ricky Reynolds, the man to get him there. Thompson, the lone setback. Dilweg throws this one into the seats and gets some applause from Sterling Sharpe saying, good play. We were covered down there in the end zone. A flag, however, back behind the line of scrimmage.
Curious reaction by the referee.
Unsportsmanlike, number 58, 15 yards with them.
Well, it must have been a late hit by Moss on Dilweg after he released the ball. Number 58 is Winston Moss.
Let's take a look and see what happened. Dilweg did the right thing by throwing the ball away. Couldn't find anybody, but 58, Winston Moss, is trailing him here. Now the ball's away. There it is. He just pushed him down. It wasn't a flagrant hit, but the referee, I guess, in his judgment, thought he had plenty of time not to touch him at all, and just interpreted that as a unsportsmanlike conduct. I would think it's a marginal call, to be honest. A marginal call, but
well, a costly one down to the 11-yard line, and they take Moss off the field. And you can see he is upset at that call. I think with some cause. Packers threatening here at the 11. Darrell Thompson is hit by Robinson. Got only a yard with his second effort. Mark Robinson with a good tackle.
I think it's unsportsmanlike conduct to me, Tim, is when a player comes in and, some violent action and try to, do something aggressively. Then you say, okay, that was out of line. But when you just put your hand on the guy's back and he falls down, I think you could overlook those plays.
That score flashing by is correct, folks. 41-3, Minnesota over the Bears. Indianapolis dumping another favorite, Cincinnati. Still with a big lead in that game. And the Eagles and the Giants providing the kind of game everybody expected. Green Bay takes a timeout as Anthony Dilweg down here does not want to make a mistake. Something he didn't like on the Buccaneers defense. 5:28 to go. 15-3 lead now. Lindy Infante, I'm sure, not happy with the fact that they didn't convert that into a major score when they were down there at the 10-yard line, just outside the 10. But it looks like he's got a complaint here on something with the official. Maybe he's complaining about those thigh pads causing that fumble illegally.
No, it's really kind of an awkward move on Dilweg's part. He brought the ball down as his right leg was crossing over and just punched it out of his hand. And, I'm sure he's going to be, when he sees the tape tomorrow, he's going to say, my word, how in the world did that happen?
Well, this man is Bob Wieland, and he's now on the staff of the Green Bay Packers. And Lindy Infante met him a couple of weeks ago when he came to speak to the team at a road game in L.A. before they beat the Raiders. He was so impressed with him. This is a man who's from Green Bay, or from Greenfield, Wisconsin, nearby Milwaukee, not far from here, but is living in California and has a degree in phys ed from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. He had been a phys ed department instructor at Cal State Los Angeles. He's a great weightlifter, and I know you've had some time with Bob in the past, and he's a great addition to the staff, Herb.
Well, I met him years ago in New York, and he was receiving an award from the President's Council. I can kind of feel young on that, but he's an outstanding man, I can tell you that. Very inspirational.
Drury's kickoff return to the 23-yard line. And for an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Well, Tim, NFC Central fans will find this of interest. Neil Anderson has the ball taken right away from him by number 57, Mike Merriweather. He goes 33 yards. Bears won't clinch a divisional title today. The Vikings lead at 41-3 in the third. Tim and Irv?
Greg, I'm telling you, there are a lot of stunned viewers looking at that score and seeing you verify what we had reported here. That is really some kind of an event.
Amazing.
First down, Tampa Bay. Now they've got to do something. 4:02 to go here. They're down 17-3. There can be no more mistakes for the Buccaneers. That's complete to Bruce Hill. Nice catch by Hill and a first down to the 42.
Bruce Hill made the catch. First down.
Testaverde delivers the goods. You mentioned Bob Wieland is on the staff now as a strength consultant working with Virgil Knight. And, of course, we'll continue to talk to the Green Bay players because they are so impressed with this Vietnam veteran and the accomplishments that he has had despite losing those legs to a mine during the Vietnam War. What a guy. First down. That's Hill again, and another Bucs first down to the 45-yard line of Green Bay. Got there by Chuck Cecil.
Wait, you hear all the chatter down there from that Green Bay defense anticipating this maneuver. They went into a zone coverage. Number 50, you can see Johnny Holland trying to get everybody in position there. As Testaverde drops back, he goes to the hook trying to pick off this pass. Can't quite get it. Another completion to Bruce Hill.
Now they're at the 45 very quickly. The Bucs, 2:50 and counting down third quarter. Still lots of time for them. 17-3. They've got to keep this drive alive. And Testaverde now flushed from the pocket and gets it off to Hill, incomplete. Scott Stephen had the coverage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Tim, the last couple of series, Green Bay has gone into a zone-type defense, and normally what you do if you want to attack a zone is hit it with the tight end who can get those seams, get up the seams right away and find the open spots. That would be Ron Hall. Or you run crossing patterns. Crossing patterns are really devastate zone coverages because as a receiver goes from one spot to the other across the field, the quarterback has several options to pick as he goes from one zone to the other and try to hit him in the gaps. And we'll anticipate some kind of a crossing maneuver from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here if Testaverde sees zone again.
Sean Patterson has come in as a pass rushing defensive end for Matt Brock. Testaverde again under some pressure, steps into it nicely and gets the ball to Carrier for a first down. Well, you know, Ray Perkins refused to talk about the little technical things that he was unhappy about, but I think you'll see here Testaverde stepping up into the pocket much better than he did during those weeks when things were going badly for him.
Does a real good job here. Gets pretty good protection, but he stays here and lets his offensive line do their job. And number 88, Carrier on the hook pattern, picks it up. Again, watch again. You're tempted to kind of fly out of there, Tim. Let's imagine now you hear all this grunting and groaning and you see these sweaty bodies in front of you. Do you want to run or panic or what? He steps up coolly, makes a completion. That's that leadership thing he was talking about, too. He said, I have to be tougher.
19 of 35 now for Testaverde. And that one is incomplete. A little behind Drury had tried to reach back for it, but slipped on the turf, and the pass was behind him. Not a good throw. Packers had Blair Keel throwing a few warm-up passes over on the sideline, but Dilweg apparently is all right, so he's expected to come back in for the next offensive series. 2nd and 10. Tampa at the 34-yard line of Green Bay.
2nd and 10 on the 33.
Nickel for the Packers. They're in nickel defense.
Wide open Ron Hall. And Hall down near the 10-yard line. The safeties converge on him. Murphy and Cecil stopping him there. 22 yards on the play.
The Packers elected to really press the line of scrimmage. They had 5 defensive backs on the field and only one linebacker, number 50, Johnny Holland, inside to pick up the remaining back. But number 82, Ron Hall, from his tight end position, running what I call a seam pattern, coming right up the middle of the field, which is a very tough pattern against his own defense, makes a key catch. Again, Ron wants to get more involved in this offense.
Chuck Cecil, who was playing with a sore shoulder, hurt himself on that play. Tiger Green came on the field to replace him. Cecil chased him off. See if the Bucs go at Cecil on this play. In the middle, and it is touchdown. Bruce Hill.
Hill for the touchdown.
Good. A dynamite throw, Tim. Bruce Hill, number 84, is in the slot to the right side of his screen. And you'll see he runs a quick slant. Now, Testaverde has to see, once he clears the linebacker, you see, he clears number 54, Scott Stephen. He has to drill that ball in there right now for the completion. Good timing. Had this been a little late or a little high, it would have been knocked down by the defense. That was threaded neatly right between the two linebackers. Nice throw.
Steve Christie for the point after, and it is good. So the Buccaneers have themselves back into the football game with still 53 seconds remaining, third quarter. To them, this is all part, obviously, of what he's been trying to accomplish this week, and that's to be assertive. He said to us last night, hey, I might throw a guy out of the huddle or chew him out or whatever I think is necessary out there tomorrow to get things done. Of course, one of the local writers down there said, hey, isn't a quarterback about leadership? Why is he just discovering that now? So he's still got to bring everybody over to his side.
Well, Tim, he's one of these guys who believes in leading on the field. Basically, I think his basic personality is that he's a very quiet, private kind of a person. You know, he's not a yell and scream, holler kind of a guy. And Perkins knows that, but he wants him to exert whatever leadership ability he has, however that shows up. And I think he means primarily through performance and encouraging others as well.
11-yard touchdown pass to Bruce Hill, and Charles Wilson will bring it up for the Packers on Christie's kickoff. Picking and fighting his way out close to the 20-yard line.
Wilson.
That'll be first down, Green Bay. 41 seconds left in the third, a 17-10 Packer lead. Bruce Perkins made the tackle for Tampa.
It seems that in this game for both teams, the tight ends have really come alive. Ed West for the Green Bay Packers came up with some key catches on their last drive. Ron Hoff and Tampa Bay Buccaneers was the key target, their tight end, on their last scoring drive. And there you are right now with Hill going from 11 yards out from Testaverde. Went 7 plays and 75 yards. Ran off a little more than 3 minutes on the clock. So that's a pretty good drive, Tim.
First down from the 19 for Green Bay. They send Woodside wide left. Dilweg up the middle, wide open is Sharpe. First down to the 49-yard line. Anthony Dilweg now 12 of 19 on the day.
Sterling Sharpe is a wide receiver lined up in a tight end's position. He's in the slot this time. You'll see him going straight up the field, right on the hash marks. Again, this is what I call a seam pattern, trying to find the open spot between the two defensive backs back in the zone. And Dilweg just dropped it in there nicely. You know, one thing Sharpe does, he has that brace on the back of his helmet. It snaps on the back of his helmet and attaches to his shoulder pads, Tim, because in college he had trouble with stingers in his neck and numb, and that brace helps support his head.
I thought that was just to keep his head on his shoulders. That all wrong. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Green Bay Packers 17, the Tampa Bay Bucks 10. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Few Rays over there. You know, his only problem, the only flaw I can find, this guy doesn't know how to relax.
No, he enjoys everything he does. Enjoys practice, enjoys playing the games, and boy, life is just a great ball with him.
He's terrific in every way. First down, Packers at the 49 after the 30-yard pass to Sharpe. And it is Darrell Thompson. The Minnesota rookie all the way down to the 11-yard line.
Thompson.
Bob Whalen liked it. And the Packer fans, 37 yards.
Talking to Thompson the other day, Tim, he says that at the University of Minnesota, I didn't block very much, but I love carrying the football. Again, from the I formation, the offensive line does a pretty good job cutting everybody off. Now it's simply a matter of having a great running back, uses open field running ability against the secondary. Fine drag down there. The ball popped out at the same time, but Darrell Thompson breaking over his right guard for a huge gain.
First down. Ball on the 14.
Well blocked up front, though, Tim.
Spotted at the 14-yard line on a Packer first down. Vince Workman to the 10. Workman, the second-year man from Ohio State, getting a chance.
A play like that really takes their heart out of a defense. Tampa Bay came in this game, Tim, wanting to really concentrate on stopping the run because they haven't had much success in the last few weeks doing that. They made some changes defensively to try to put stronger, tougher people in there to do that. And now here they are in the fourth quarter when they really needed some help against the run. Thompson breaking off a big gain. Look at that. Tampa Bay 45 yards rushing, and now Green Bay has 103. And when you get in that area, that means you're getting close to a win.
Ball on the 10.
About 125 yards rushing wins for most teams.
Workman and Thompson in together now. Second down. Play action. There's that crossing back situation again. And Dilweg starts to run it inside the 5. He may have the first down. It'll be close. There's that play you like so much when they scored the touchdown, Irv.
Yeah, the first time they got away with it. This time Tampa Bay had their linebacker stay at home. Didn't go for the fake, but he's trying to go outside to number 84, Sterling Sharpe. Sharpe fakes a move inside, breaks to the corner, but he's pretty well covered out there by Ricky Reynolds. Matter of fact, Reynolds does a great job in coverage on Sharpe, and Dilweg's forced to run with it.
Murphy and Randall made the tackle, and again they send in Ron Hallstrom at left tackle here. Outside of the guard Billiard. They'll load up the right side to make it strong. And they put Jacke Harris, their second tight end, in motion. Thompson blasts off tackle right, gets down to the 1.
That is power football.
That was a Mandridge pancake there, I think.
A Mandridge pancake. He takes great pride in taking defensive players and rolling them on their backs. He didn't quite roll this Reuben Davis on his back, but by golly, what a great surge he had. Terry Mandridge said when asked what kind of an offense he'd like to play on, he said, "I'd like to have us just run the ball all the time, you know, and just forget about pass blocking. Like to just blow off the line and drive my guy off the ball." He does a good job of that. Good drive blocker.
First down and goal. Dilweg slips and is dropped for a loss by Winston Moss to the 7-yard line. That play a little slow in developing, and it cost them.
Well, it was slow in developing, but credit number 30, Mark Robinson, the defensive back there, for picking up the receiver. Dilweg on a play action. Everybody's fooled except 2 people. Number 30, Mark Robinson, and the receiver. When Dilweg wants to throw the ball, he can't get it away because Robinson's standing right next to the receiver, and Winston Moss never gave up. Kept going until he got the quarterback. Good pursuit.
So it'll be second and goal, but now back out at the 7-yard line.
Remember, the Buccaneers safeties, number 30, Mark Robinson, is one of the real students of the game. It's very difficult to fool him on any kind of a pass coverage.
And Dilweg, again, not happy with what he saw, takes a timeout. Don't want to make mistakes down in here with a chance to really open a lead. We'll be right back. Packers lead by 7. 11:33 remaining to play, and you can see Dilweg doing a good job at quarterback for the leading Green Bay Packers. Irv and I are working in separate booths here today to bring you the game from Milwaukee County Stadium.
Some directors will do anything to get talent on camera. Mike Arnold's directing this one. Thanks for the shot, Mike.
Well, nonetheless, we do have a good view of the game provided we peer out these windows.
Yeah.
And Green Bay is on the 7-yard line with a second and goal. And Dilweg and company trying to open up a 2-touchdown lead. Dilweg out for Thompson, incomplete. He was all wrapped up by Winston Moss. Had he caught the ball, it would have been a loss. It's just as well it was incomplete.
Boy, I tell you, Winston Moss has had quite a quarter. He's made some key plays on this drive. But number 58, again, responsible for the first back outside, finds himself covering here on the receiver, number 39, Darrell Thompson. And boy, does he do a good job. Got good outside leverage, so he had good position to come up quickly to make that play.
I think Winston Moss still angry at that penalty they called on him. That was a foolish one from when he pushed Dilweg. And Ray Perkins said last night, Moss can play anywhere. He's played inside, outside, never complains. He's been a pumped-up player here. Third and goal. Blitz. Sharpe can't hold on. Dilweg threw a good low ball there, and Sterling Sharpe just couldn't hold on, trying to dive to hang on.
This is a safety blitz, Tim. Number 30, Mark Robinson, is normally a strong safety. This time he gets right up on the line of scrimmage and comes right now. No one can block him because there's not a man there to account for him. Dilweg gets the ball away, but he also paid the price. He was knocked down shortly after he threw it.
Well, Sterling Sharpe, it doesn't drop many, just couldn't hang on to that one. So Chris Jacke will attempt the field goal from the 15-yard line, a 25-yard attempt. And Jacke connects, and the Packers widen their lead. It is now 20-10 Green Bay.
They're going to score twice, so that's
George Jasinski to the sheriff's office, please.
So a 10-point margin now for the Pack as Jacke connects on his second field goal of the afternoon. He missed from 53 yards back in the first quarter, but has 2 here in the second half. And 11:23 remaining to play. Of course, in regulation time.
Of course, the most impressive play was that 39-yard run by Darrell Thompson, the Packers' second #1 pick this year out of Minnesota. And what an impressive young man he is, though. He's a very intelligent young man who's really excited about being here with the Packers. But in talking to him the last few days, he said, I'd certainly like to carry the ball a lot more. But in our offense, the halfbacks have to do a lot of things. We're pass receivers. We have to block. And blocking is something I didn't do. As a matter of fact, I said, how much blocking did you do at Minnesota? And he put his index finger and his thumb together, 0. None at all. But he's working at it and doing a pretty good job. And Pete right there as a running back coach, the father of quarterback Rodney Pete of Detroit. But Thompson finally running the ball the way he always hoped he could here for the Green Bay Packers. Uncorked a big one for them.
That run, 37 yards by Thompson that set up the field goal, was his longest as a Packer and also the longest run of the year for any Green Bay running back. Ray Perkins, what must be going through this man's mind? Steely, tough competitor. He's been disappointed clearly in 5 consecutive losses. His owner, Hugh Culverhouse, predicted an 11-5 season. Perkins didn't go along with those numbers, but he did feel his team would be a playoff team. And the loss today is really talking about next year.
But neither one of us are mind readers. You never quite know what's going through his mind. But you have to believe that S&C, we're so close to getting to the end zone. All we need to do is make some minor adjustments and we'll get there.
Willie Drury tripped on the turf down there at about the 12-yard line and got only to the 15. Met there by Jacke Harris.
Jacke Harris to the tackle.
Drury, number 87. Really, when he takes his ball, Timmy, he makes a real sharp cut and gets on the outside of his shoes. You see that? He's not really standing flat-footed. He's on the edge of his shoes, and because of that, lost his footing.
11:14 to go. 10-point margin for Green Bay. Once again, the Bucs having to start from deep in their own end. Reggie Cobb, good run by Cobb, right up the gut, and losing his balance, managed to stay on his feet for a 14-yard pickup. Murphy and Cecil, the safeties, on the tackle.
The Buccaneers have gotten to the point now where they're in a come from behind situation will probably be forced to throw the ball more than they'd like to, but really with Grimes, Beckles, and backs, the center and 2 guards there, they're real good drive blockers and run blockers. If they can uncork some big runs here, they can find themselves in position to come back in this ball game.
Testaverde gets time and drills it out the left side. Mark Carrier diving attempt, but the pass in front of him incomplete. Should the Packers win this week, they have a pretty good looking schedule remaining. Only Philadelphia, the only team with a winning record left for them to play. They would have, after this game today, they'll be at Minnesota against the Vikings. Then they have Seattle, the Eagles, Detroit at home, and at Denver. So this victory today would put them at 6-5 if they can hang on to it. Now for the Bucs, it's likewise true. If they can come back and win this game, they've got a pretty good schedule. That's intended for Hill, incomplete. And Holmes had the coverage on Bruce Hill. Well, for an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, the Philadelphia Eagles have hit the Giants with 2 touchdowns within a 22-second span. Phil Simms' pass batted into the air, and here comes Byron Evans. And, Tim, watch the dance in the end zone. 31-13 Eagles in the fourth quarter, Tim.
Looks like a turkey trot. He's probably still thinking about Thanksgiving.
He hasn't had enough experience doing that. Obviously, a linebacker. Give me a break. Third down. Boy, that's a big game, though, for the Eagles. Testaverde under pressure. Now runs out of it and trying to get Drury incomplete. Linebacker Burnell Dent had that rush on and forcing Testaverde to run it to the right.
Burnell Dent, number 56, is a linebacker inside. You'll see him show here, right up the gut, flushing Testaverde out. He's forced to throw that ball away.
Royals punt. Fielded by Query at the 30-yard line. He's dropped immediately, and 10-16 remains in Milwaukee's County Stadium. The Packers lead by 10.
And they played. As a matter of fact, they played in college, and Newton had done that at that time too. But Newton tells me it was an accident. Campus said, no, he did it on purpose. So I'm going to cover my eyes today and make sure he doesn't poke me again.
So the pack starts with the first down at the 30-yard line. And a good hole for Darrell Thompson. Gets about 8. Campen obviously did the job on Newton that time. Must have had his eyes open all the way.
Well, you talk both of these guys. They really respect one another quite a bit. You can see number 96, Tim Newton's on the nose. Campen's responsible for controlling him. Turns him outside. Does a great job. Gets a little help from Euchre there on a double team, but Campen won that one hands down.
52 yards now for Darrell Thompson. Sure he'll be thanking James Campen for the hole. Campen's quite a guy. He's a free agent to back up at New Orleans behind Joel Hilgenberg and Steve Court down there, and came over here in Plan B and became a starter. He's just thrilled to be in the NFL. 2nd and 2.
It's a big pro wrestling fan. Imagine that.
Thompson tripped up and trying to get to the line, diving. And it was Mark Robinson coming up from safety, but I don't know that he stopped him short of the first down. It'll be close. And it looks like it will be by about a half yard. Well, the sun's been in and out, and right now shining late in the afternoon here at Milwaukee County Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trail the Green Bay Packers 20-10. Jim Ryan with Irv Cross, and the Green Bay Packers have been much more consistent in terms of playing error-free football, except for one fumble back in the first half. Buccaneers continue to hurt themselves with errors and penalties. 3rd and less than a yard. Darrell Thompson, and he's got it. So Green Bay keeps the ball, and 8:32 and ticking down now. Eugene Marv on the tackle.
A play like that, Tim, is pretty tough yardage. The defense is pinching down inside, and the line has to really get down there and kind of root him out. Manders does a pretty good job taking his man out of the play. And number 35, Michael Haddix, does a decent job with his lead block. Thompson gets the first down. That's pretty tough football.
Lindy Infante will want to see this running game use up as much of the clock here in this final period as he can. Thompson again. Gets about 3 to the 45-yard line of Green Bay, where Rob White made the tackle. Picked up on waivers from Denver. There's Darrell Thompson.
White made the tackle.
And he is about to outrush the Tampa Bay team. You know, Anderson's only carried the ball 3 times for the Buccaneers. Darrell Thompson has been the horse here in this 4th quarter for Green Bay.
Well, that's been part of Tampa Bay's problem the last few weeks, though, Tim. They get behind, and they wind up being forced to go into a passing mode. And Anderson, who's a great all-around back for them, suddenly is taken out of their running game, and hasn't been that effective.
9 carries now for Darrell Thompson and 59 yards. Play action fake to Thompson. Dilweg to Workman, and Workman has the first down for Green Bay. Nicely holding on to the ball despite being wrapped up by Harry Hamilton.
Dilweg told us something the other day which I really found quite interesting in terms of how he reads the patterns when he rolls out or drops back to throw the ball. He goes short, medium, long. So even though he was rolling out there, looking deep upfield for Sterling Sharpe, his first read was try to find the short man coming out of there. Workman came out free, bang, hit him right now.
That Eagles-Giants score that flashed by, of course, looks like now there will be no undefeated matchup against the San Francisco 49ers, as the Giants appear to be en route to a defeat at the hands of Philadelphia today. On first down, Thompson again inside, make it Michael Haddix this time. Haddix inside the 40 to the 39-yard line of Tampa, and the Packers grinding it out.
Yeah, Tim, I was talking to Haddix last night about the program he's now involved in up in Green Bay called Safe Rides in Green Bay. You know, he was 8 years old and his mother and father were killed in an automobile accident. And he feels the drunken driver plowed into them and killed them, and he feels very strongly about not drinking and driving. So he's very active in the Safe Rides program. As a matter of fact, on Tuesday they're having a meeting in Green Bay with parents and kids to talk about not drinking and driving, and they can call him anytime, anywhere, he said, because he's committed to it. And he's quite a guy.
That's great to hear. His cousin Wayne on the Buck side, another fine young man. This is Michael again, and Michael Haddix gets to the 30-yard line and has a first down. They are taking the heart out of the Buccaneers here, Irv.
Yeah, this is a punishing, grueling drive. You can get 2 or 3 and 4 at a crack. The first thing you do as a defensive player is you look at the clock and you see you have 5 minutes left to go in the game, and it looks like you can't take the ball away. So Tampa Bay right now has to be thinking to themselves, we have to force a turnover some kind of way, a fumble or an interception or something. We can't let Green Bay sit on this football. Right now, the Green Bay offensive line is taking charge. You know, they've just driven Tampa Bay off the ball.
85 yards to 14 in offense this quarter, and 7 plays on this drive has taken 5:20 off the clock. Haddix again. Haddix upset by Ricky Reynolds, but his forward momentum still gained him close to 5 yards.
Tim, this is what I'm talking about in terms of the surge of the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers. Take a look at Camp in 63 working against Tim Newton, 96. Bang. Okay, he cuts Newton off, but look at the right side of that Packer offensive line drive the Tampa Bay Buccaneers off the ball. Haddix hadn't made contact with the defender until he was about 4 yards upfield.
So we have a timeout on the field and 4:26 to play with Green Bay in command. Coaching staff of the Green Bay Packers on the sideline over there working with the strength coach, and this is a sample of his inspirational talk from last week.
On where you start, it's always based on where you finish. Packer pride, let's go. All right.
Well, he is a motivational speaker among his many talents and spends much of his time traveling around the country, and Lindy Infante got to hear him, didn't know the man until about 3 weeks ago, and never met him, never heard of him, and was so moved by him, he said, I want this guy on my team, and literally put him on his team as an assistant coach.
Well, he's addressed the team twice, Tim, and he's undefeated. He's 2-0. Today will be the 3rd game for him.
2nd down and 7, and Darrell Thompson. Haddix, pardon me. Michael Haddix gets it down close to the 30-yard line, picked up maybe a yard and a half. Reuben Davis on the stop.
It'll be a 40-second timeout.
So the Bucs take their 2nd timeout with 4:20 to go. Lindy Infante has got to be pleased with the way his team has responded, and they can move to 6-5 if they can hang on here. And this playoff picture could go right down to the end of the season. The Chicago Bears losing to Minnesota today, and the Detroit Lions still alive, so who knows what will happen there. Some of you will see the Bucs at home against Atlanta, and barring a Tampa Bay victory today, it's going to be all conversation about next year for the Bucs.
Fergus took an interesting approach to this game, though, Tim. Last night he said, I'm going to address the team and just tell them, you know, you can win 5 in a row or lose 5 in a row. But if we're going to win 5 in a row, we have to start tomorrow. He's an interesting guy, very introspective, and you think at this time there'll be some yelling and screaming. Not at all. He just wants to find out where the problems are, get them straightened out, and continue to encourage his football team, his young football team.
3rd down, 6. Give it to Jeff Query. Wide receiver comes around and is tripped up close to the marker. And Ricky Reynolds, the guy that made the tackle on him. Speedy young Jeff Query, a 2nd-year man from tiny Millikan College in Illinois. And the crowd says go for it. They need less than a yard. And it looks like they're sending the Hosses on to do just that.
I think I think I'd go for it. The way the offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage. Now, the Packers really up front have really been dominant this entire game. And I would think that you've got Tony Manders at right tackle and Keith Euchre at right guard, that you would just drive right off their hips and let Manders get it for you.
Darrell Thompson, good defensive surge by the Buccaneers. They may have stopped him. And it is Irvin Randall underneath, number 54. He made the contact. And the Buccaneers have stopped him.
Boy, I guess Tampa Bay was thinking along with me, feeling he'd go off the right tackle of Tony Manders. Manders gets off the mark here, but slips off his block. And Randall, really from his linebacker position, comes in and fills that off-tackle hole. So the point of attack seems to be pretty well cleaned out, but no one picked up the linebacker, Randall. He came up with a key play for the Buccaneers.
A little help from Eugene Marv. So still some fight in the Buccaneers here on that defensive squad. Stopping on 4th and a half yard. Now it's up to Testaverde in the offense. 6:58 off the clock on that drive. Reggie Cobb, first down, Buccaneers to their 37-yard line.
With Tampa being their 2-minute offense, Tim, and Green Bay have played their nickel defense. Their deep backs will play fairly deep with a 2-deep zone most of the time. Now they're in like a 3-deep configuration and giving up the short stuff, not the home run.
Testaverde ran into his blockers, now has some room. And incomplete, intended for Carrier. Threw it between Carrier and Ron Hall, but that stops the clock with 2:55. Bucks need 2 scores.
Green Bay ended up running into a 3-deep zone here with the backs revolved here, strong side, and Testaverde really couldn't find anybody in the short area where he wanted to go. The pocket broke down, and he had to find daylight wherever he could and rolled out of there and just threw it away, really. I think it was a good move on his part to get out of there and try to get something, make something happen. Couldn't do it.
Bruce Hill tripped up short of the first down by Chuck Cecil, but a gain of better than 9.
Cecil made the tackle.
Ball at the 45 of Tampa Bay.
3rd and 1.
Intended for Drury, and the ball sailed a little, and he took a hit from Leroy Butler, the rookie from Florida State. Number 36 plays in the nickel package for the Packers, and a guy that would appear to be the heir apparent to veteran Jerry Holmes on the right corner.
He's shown an awful lot of promise here, Tim. The 2nd-round draft pick this year, and a youngster with an awful lot of ability. Likes to hit and is a good single coverage man.
Big surprising scores today. Indianapolis over Cincinnati, and Minnesota beating up on the Bears. Philadelphia beating up on the unbeaten Giants. Reggie Cobb, and he has a first down. Tampa Bay to the 46-yard line, where Burnell Dent made the stop.
But if you're on the Packers defense right now, Tim, you have to believe, well, okay, they got a first down on us, but it took a minute or so for them to get it, and they're going to have to nickel and dime us to get in the end zone. We're not going to give up the home run.
Diving catch by Drury. Nice job against the coverage from Butler again. First down at the 43-yard line of Green Bay. And we've reached the 2-minute warning here at Milwaukee County Stadium. Green Bay by 10.
Official timeout.
Yeah. Big Eagle fan.
Well, maybe we'll see the Four Tops and some of those other great, really very wordy Motown stars. Testaverde wants an incompleted pass. The ball was
Incomplete pass.
knocked loose just as he delivered the ball, and he had the forward motion going, and it was Robert Brown who hit him. So it is an incomplete and not a fumble.
That was clearly an incomplete pass. The rule simply states is when a quarterback's arm comes forward, it's a passing motion. Now here he is throwing the ball, and the ball just slipped out of his hand. He's trying to hold it back and dropped out of his hand. And incomplete.
2nd and 10 at the 47-yard line. field. Sean Patterson, number 96.
Tim, this is what happens when you try to double team Tim Harris on the other side. Sean Patterson, the other end on the opposite side, is blocked one-on-one. He comes through and makes a big sack.
Third sack of the season for Patterson, coming off an injury. This one is complete to Hill, and Hill will leave a fourth down and about 3 at the 37-yard line. 1:29 and counting down. Burnell Dent and Mark Murphy combined there, and the final timeout will be taken by the Tampa Bay Bucks on this fourth down situation.
You just wonder, Tim, what this game is going to mean to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because early in the week on Monday they had a team meeting. The entire squad got together and rededicated themselves, committing themselves to having a good season, and looking at extra tape or working extra hard on the practice field. And some guys even stood up and made personal testimonies. It was a very emotional meeting. And then the offense and defense split up and had their individual meetings. And again, the players just sort of bled their hearts out. And they wanted to win here badly to prove themselves that they A, are a good football team, and B, had a shot at the playoffs. So they're just a minute and 24 seconds here. They're having the door closed in their face, and it's going to be, I think, a very hard loss to take.
Well, Sterling got his hat back. He must have a spy up here in the CBS booth who spends a lot of time working on those hats, and looks like he's in cruise control here for the final 124. Let the defense finish him off here, he says. 4th and 4. Last gasp. Nearly picked off by Holmes, the intended receiver Hall. Green Bay has the ball in the football game. 1:20 to go. Our coordinating producers of the NFL on CBS are Charles H. Milton III and Ed Gorin. Our game today produced by Daniel H. Porter and directed by Michael Arnold. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. Senior producer David Winner, executive producer Ted Shaker. So the Green Bay Packers will move to 6 and 5, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have to think about next year. And inevitably, the quarterback controversy nobody wants, certainly not Ray Perkins and Vinny Testaverde, is going to surface down there. Chris Chandler and whatever else may happen the rest of the way. Perkins making it quite clear and firmly last night, I never said Testaverde wasn't still our number one, despite benching him. But Green Bay has Don Majkowski as their number one quarterback, and Anthony Dilweg showing the way he played today that he's a capable number one quarterback, if not here, perhaps elsewhere someday. The NFL Today follows with the post-game show, and you'll get scores and highlights of this eventful day in the NFL coming up at the end of our telecast. 42 seconds and counting down. Anthony Dilweg had some fun out here today and did a good job, Irv.
Well, he did what he wanted to do. He didn't make any mistakes and kept the offense going. He's a very bright quarterback, and the players here really like him. He's had some success early on in the year. Here comes the ice bucket. Tim Harris. Nelson and Fondy. Where did that come from, he's saying? Well, that's what happens when you win, Tim. Everything's lots of fun.
Well, it could have been a lot colder here in Milwaukee for that to happen to him this time of year. So Fondy's glad to go off with a victory. His team's over 500 and very much in the playoff picture. So here's how it looks now. Chicago losing today to Minnesota. Green Bay at 6 and 5. They may not catch the Bears, but as we said, they're in the playoff hunt. And Tampa Bay down at the bottom. And looking now, I think, the next year. The final score, the Green Bay Packers 20 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10. Stay tuned for the NFL Today post-game show. Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will have all the scores, highlights, and playoff updates.
Mercy. Across the country, would it be the Rams sucking wind? Or could they knock the wind out of the sails of the 10-0